Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder was offered $84 million by the Lakers. He said no. Bet on himself. Then he lost. The market dried up. He took a $5.9 million deal and never fully recovered the momentum. He still had speed, still had moments, but the narrative stuck. The guy who fumbled the bag, the cautionary tale. Schroeder never lost his game. He lost the leverage. And in the NBA, that's sometimes worse than losing your shot. Some names never lived up to the hype. Others were legends, until one bad landing. Who's next on the list? DeAndre Jordan once soared higher than gravity allowed. Lob City's anchor, a nightly double-double, all-NBA first team, Olympic gold. But when the dunk slowed and the defense slipped, there was nothing left. No jumper, no post game, no playmaking, just a big body and fading hops. He went from centerpiece to bench warmer to locker room mascot. DeAndre didn't evolve, he expired. The league didn't even notice he was gone until he was already standing in a suit. Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry bled for Toronto. Charges taken, elbows thrown, threes hit. He turned the Raptors into champions and became the most beloved player in franchise history. But the decline was steep. Miami gave him the bag and got a whisper of the old version. The leadership remained, but the legs didn't. Slower rotations, missed shots, lingering injuries. He didn't flame out. He just cooled into a contract nobody wanted. A hero in Canada. A cap filler everywhere else. Paul George. Paul George had everything. Two-way brilliance. MVP level stats. Swagger. Style. But then came the injuries. And worse, the playoff collapses. Way off P. Pandemic P. The memes hit harder than defenders. He bounced back statistically, but the narrative never did. Each postseason brought another stumble, another disappearing act. The game says he's elite. The spotlight says otherwise. George never lost the skill. He just couldn't outrun the ghost of who fans thought he was supposed to be. Karl Anthony Towns can shoot like a guard, post like a big, and put up 25 and 10 in his sleep. But sleep is what he seems to play through. The numbers stay clean, but the impact stays missing. Year after year, new teammates come and go, and the Timberwolves still fall short. The league stopped fearing him. The fans stopped defending him. He's a star on paper. On the court, he's just a whisper in the storm. KAT never broke. He just never broke through. Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson was a flamethrower. 37 and a quarter. 60 on 11 dribbles. The second half of the Splash Brothers dynasty. But two devastating injuries, ACL, then Achilles, took away his rhythm, his lateral movement, his edge. He returned and still hit shots. But not like before. The game got faster. He didn't. The jumper's still pure. The timing isn't. From perennial all-star to a slow-footed liability in playoff switches, Klay didn't collapse. He got caught in time's undertow. Some stars fade, others explode, but the rarest ones, they disappear without a trace. Which one did we miss? James Harden. James Harden changed the game. Step backs, foul baiting, and stat sheets that read like fiction. MVP, scoring titles, unguardable isolation brilliance. But behind every peak was a pattern. Burnout, finger pointing, and exits. Houston, Brooklyn, Philly. Every time the story ended the same, with a trade demand and bad press. Now he's a meme, not a menace. The league hasn't questioned his talent, it's questioned his commitment. Harden didn't fall because he declined. He fell because everyone got tired of the same ending. John Starks. John Starks earned New York's love the hard way, undrafted, gritty, fearless. He dunked on entire front courts, guarded stars twice his size, and gave the Knicks a fighting spirit. But in the biggest moment of his life, Game 7 of the '94 finals, he shot 2 for 18. And that one night became his legacy. Not the hustle, Not the fire, just the misses. He stayed loyal, gave everything. But history can be cruel. For Starks, it distilled greatness into a box score he never outran. Mitch Richmond was a scoring machine. 6 straight seasons averaging over 21, 7 All-Star nods, and a jumper smoother than most Hall of Famers. But the league barely noticed. Sacramento never made the playoffs. Golden State was a sideshow. Washington gave him a ring, but by then, he was already fading. Richmond had the stats, the game, the consistency. What he didn't have was relevance. He didn't fall off. He just never got lifted into the spotlight in the first place. Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh was the third option on a super team, but he played like a first. Stretch big, defensive anchor, clutch shooter. His game aged before the league caught up. Then just as he reached his prime, blood clots ended everything. One medical ruling, and he was out. Not injured, not declining, just stopped, gone. He fought to return, but doctors said no. The Hall of Fame came later. The closure never did. Bosh didn't fall from grace. He was pulled from it. Peja Stojakovic. Peja Stojakovic had a stroke so pure, it felt scripted. 2-time three-point leader, 3-time All-Star, and the offensive engine of those early 2000s Kings. But when the lights were brightest, the shot dimmed. 2002 Western Conference Finals. He went cold. The deeper the playoffs, the shorter his leash. He finally got a ring in Dallas, but as a role player, not a threat. Peja never lost his shot. He just lost the trust to take it when it mattered most. Kevin Martin. Kevin Martin could flat out score. 24 points per game with a funky release and 0 flash. He lived at the free throw line, sliced defenses with angles, and averaged all-star numbers without the all-star nods. But he played on ghost teams, Sacramento, Houston, Minnesota, always putting up numbers, never making noise. No playoff runs, no signature moments, just buckets in the void. Martin didn't fall off. He just played an entire career that nobody bothered to notice. Shawn Marion. Shawn Marion had the ugliest shot of any All-Star, but behind that hitch was elite defense, rebounding, and unselfish offense. He did everything and did it well. A 4-time All-Star, a champion, the X factor in multiple systems, but no signature moves, no viral moments, no narrative. When he retired, there was no ceremony, no deep retrospectives, just silence. Marion's game aged well. The memory of it didn't. He was never overrated, just under-remembered. Eric Gordon had next. In 2011, he averaged 22 points and looked like a franchise scorer. Then came the surgeries, knee, ankle, groin, layered over years. He became a sixth man, a specialist, a salary dump. Every time he surged, pain followed. He won Sixth Man of the Year in Houston, hit big playoff shots, but the star trajectory was long gone. Gordon's fall wasn't dramatic. It was slow, quiet erosion, one missed game at a time. Tyreke Evans. Tyreke Evans did what only LeBron, MJ, and Oscar had done. Averaged 25-5 as a rookie. He was supposed to be Sacramento's savior. Then the injuries came. The inefficiency followed. The role changed. And eventually, the league just let him drift away. He had one brief comeback season in Memphis, but by the time he figured it out, the league had already closed the door, suspended for a drug violation, reinstated years later. But the story was over. Tyreke didn't fade. He vanished. Zion Williamson. Zion Williamson broke physics. A 6'6", 280-pound wrecking ball who jumped like he was made of helium. When he played, he scored 25+, effortlessly. All-star by year 2. But the when became the issue. Hamstrings, foot fractures, conditioning, media drama. He missed more games than he played. Fans marveled. Then they sighed. He's still young, still a star on paper. But paper doesn't sweat, sprint, or last 82 games. Zion didn't fall yet. He's standing on the edge, waiting to jump or break. Think you've seen it all? The biggest rise and worst fall hasn't happened yet. It's still unfolding, right now.